Hello, and you're very welcome to Season 2 of the Jameson Graduate Programme podcast. This is a 6-episode series focusing on a different part of the Jameson International Graduate Programme each week. These episodes aim to share insights onto how the programme supports you both professionally and personally from both past and present brand ambassadors. You'll get to know all about that serious character we look for in candidates. And on today's episode, I'm going to be joined by Martin Balaser. Martin is a brand ambassador based out of Milan, Italy, and he's going to be talking to us all about application process hints and tips. Martin, how are you?
Hi, Budge. Thank you for having me here on the podcast. I'm grand. What about you?
I'm grand. Already incorporating that Irish culture. I'm good, man. How's all over in Milan? I mean, you are year one of the program, so you're new into the role. How are you finding it?
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. I started traveling around Italy. I've been last week in Rome. 2 days ago, I was doing presentation on the whiskey festival. It's amazing, the role here.
And look, Martin, before we kind of get into, I guess, the application process, which this episode is about today, I want to talk about you briefly. So give us a bit of background. You know, where are you from? How to pronounce your second name, because I always butcher it. And what were you doing before the graduate program?
Yeah, sure. Well, my second name is Baldassarre. But in
I'm never going to be able to get that. Balaser.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult for Irish. Well.
Give us a bit more about yourself. You know, what did you study and what were you doing before the graduate program?
Well, sure. In order to be a brand ambassador, you don't need to have a background in management or business. I started studying music. So in high school, I played piano and I did composition. Then I moved a little bit into business and I did a bachelor degree in management. And then I moved to Ireland where I became familiar with all the Irish stuff. And I did a master in international management.
Where did you study the international management?
To Trinity College.
Oh, so
in Dublin, yeah.
The heart of the city. And how was your year in Ireland? Did you like it?
Gosh, I want to come back sometimes. Probably in the future, we will see each other.
Well, we would love to have you back. And then, Martin, you graduated from Trinity College Dublin with your master's. And what did you do before applying for the graduate program?
Well, before doing like the application for the graduate program, I worked for my family business. I did a little bit of e-commerce and content creation on social media.
Amazing. And you apply. Okay, so then that kind of leads me into the first kind of question. Talk to us about the application. Well, when did you first hear about the graduate program? When were you made aware of the Jameson International Graduate Program, and why did you apply?
Well, everyone in my master in Ireland was talking about the graduate program. Like I think like 10 people out of 90 of my master applied for the program. They were from different nationalities, and for me it was something new because I never heard about Jameson in Italy, like Jameson graduate program in Italy, but I knew the brand, I knew the people, I knew the previous brand ambassador here in Italy. Then when I went there,
big shout out to Antonia. Big shout out to Antonia.
Yeah, whoop whoop. My mentor, yeah. Well, everyone was talking about the graduate program. I went to a career fair and I saw all the green T-shirt, and probably was you was saying, I think it was you that was doing like a speech about the graduate program, and I saw the passion in the eyes of all the people that was talking about their experience in international market, and I was like, okay, I have to do whatever it takes to be the next brand ambassador. and here I am.
And here you are. And speaking of which, what is your current role? Where are you based at the moment?
Well, at the moment, I'm the Italian brand ambassador. So the head office is in Milan, but I travel around Italy. So Rome, Naples, Florence. Yeah.
Sounds pretty amazing. It sounds really, really cool. So let's talk about, I guess, your application process. Martin, what was it like for you when you were prepared for the application? Because as we know, there's certainly for the initial application, there's both the written and the video part of the application. When you were applying, what was it like?
Well, as you know, because I applied 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the application process was really, really cool. Like the written application, instead of like sending the CV, it's something that that was unusual, but at the same time, you can show who you really are through those questions, and even through the video. Gosh, the video application was an amazing process. So I started recording 2 weeks after the application opened, because first of all, I had to put all the ideas together,
mm-hmm.
and then to start to record the video.
And you mentioned there, I guess, when talking about your video application process, were you worried at all? Were you nervous about doing the application? As you said, you weren't successful your first year, but you were successful your second year. But were you, when doing the video, were you worried, or were you afraid of what? Did you know what to put into it? How was, because that's often one of the biggest kind of fears of people who apply for the program, is that video application part.
Oh gosh, the video application, I think, was one of the best part, because in the video application, you can be yourself 100%, and you can show the serious character that you're looking for in order to be inside the program. Well, I started by looking at what were my skills that I can put in the video application, what was required from the program. So first of all, I went to Jameson graduate program website, because everything is right there. You can see like previous brand ambassadors experience. And then after looking on the website, I moved to the Instagram page, because everything is there, and even the experience and the live session of the brand ambassador takeovers. And I think that another thing that I loved about the program, and I love about this application, is that people, the brand ambassador help you through the process. If you write to someone, they'll tell you, they'll give you advices always.
And that's actually great, because that's what I remember when I applied. That is what I did. I reached out to other brand ambassadors, and they know what it's like to go through this process, and they're more than happy and more than willing to help you too. And I guess, did you have, a main, I like what you said there about you were going through what your skill set are, what you can bring to the job, looking for that serious character, why you have it. And would you say the video is more important than the written?
No, absolutely not. The written is really, really important, because they want to know what is your background, and what do you think about the program. They want to see how you feel about the program as well. And through the video application, you can show yourself. You can show what are your top skills. And like I saw your video application, I was like, oh my, that guy is so good at using like video editing stuff. And I was like, I have to do something like that. But you don't need it. You really don't need it. Like a couple of friends of mine that are in the program recorded with their phone, and it's really easy.
Exactly, and that's a really good point, because we talk there about what your skill sets are, and that's what you want to portray in the video. And of course, my skill set was my content creation ability, and that was it. And people see some so when people see other previous applicants, I guess drawing on my video, and people expect that level of high quality, that's not the case. The video is to get a sense of who you are as a person and do you suit the brand. I mean, there was people in there when we were going through, and we will talk about the recruitment process now in a minute, but when people were doing their presentations or their interviews, they came across as maybe much better marketeers, or they had much better skill sets in areas that I wouldn't have. So I think that's a great point. You don't need that skill set.
Absolutely.
If you have it, fantastic, utilize it. But if you don't, it is not the be all and end all. Now, to be fair, your video was very good. Both your videos were very good.
Yeah, but remember to stick to the 2-minute presentation.
Yes.
Because when I did my first presentation and it was successful, and then I went through the induction, so the second part of the recruitment process. I remember some member of the team told me, "Martin, your video was so good, but it was too long."
That is great. And I was the same, Martin. My video was like 4 minutes long. So they're very, it's very, very important to keep the 2-minute video mark. And then I guess that leads it, because you mentioned it there briefly about the recruitment process, which leads us nicely into the next piece of the application process. So you've submitted your online written and video application, and then you were called back for the assessment centers. What were the assessment centers like?
Well, we started with a coffee in order to know the other people, know the other applicants, and to a little bit of networking. And there I met a lot of friends that I saw even a couple of days ago in the Italian market. So now they are brand ambassador as well, and we meet up here in Italy. And by going back to the application process, the second part was the assessment center. First of all, after the meetup that I told you before, we had a 2-minute presentation about whatever we want.
What was yours on?
So
I remember, but just so the people, because as we said, you applied twice. But you what were your presentations on? Because the presentation is something you're passionate about. What was your one on?
Yeah, absolutely. So since I worked in the jewelry and watch industry, I did a presentation about watches, but innovative watches. And the first presentation in the other application that I did was about Carbonara.
Was it a recipe from your grandmother, or was it someone's? Yeah. I do remember that.
Like my grandmother recipe for carbonara, like the perfect serve carbonara, the one that you're like so Italian, you'll do like.
You realize how Italian that is. Your presentation was on carbonara and how to make the perfect grandmother's carbonara. But it was
such a cliche.
But it was great. And look, this is the fun. This is why the assessment centers and the application process is unique, but also quite fun, because you get those experiences. I mean, there was always, Fionn Carty, who is one of the brand ambassadors based in Spain. He did his on, was it Sligo Rovers, the football team? Yeah. I did mine on memes. And again, it's back to that piece of they're hiring the person. They're not hiring, I guess, what you studied. It's the person, and it's those presentations and the 2-minute presentation that you do that gives a more of an insight to the team of who you are. And how did you feel were you nervous doing your presentation?
Well, at the beginning, I was a bit nervous because I was presenting carbonara sauce. And I don't know, like the reaction of the recruitment team that was looking at and the other people. But the important thing is like always being yourself and engage. And engagement in this job is really important. And what I did with the carbonara sauce was engaging the audience, asking if they put cream in their carbonara and like pointing out of them, like, don't put cream in your carbonara.
What is, briefly, for people listening who weren't lucky enough to sit through your presentation, what is the perfect carbonara recipe? Really quickly.
Yeah. So to prepare the sauce, you have to, for 2 people, you have to use just an egg and an egg yolk. Then you mix it in the same bowl. You put some Parmesan cheese or pecorino cheese, that is cheese from goat, that it's aged. So it's not like mushy and melty, like the bad stuff that you put, like the other continent put inside the carbonara. So no cheddar, no that stuff. Then you put some pepper and you leave it aside, that sauce. You prepare some pancetta. Usually it's guanciale. Guanciale is the cheek of the pork. You don't find it in Ireland, so you can use pancetta or bacon. It's not the same, but you can use it. Then you prepare your pasta. Remember to have it al dente. Okay. So don't throw the pasta in the pan when the water is not boiling. So remember, Italian, do it better. And then you put it all together. And when you put the sauce that you prepared with the egg yolk and the other stuff, you have to turn off the heat, because you don't want a really bad and mushy egg inside your carbonara. You want a creamy sauce.
Yes.
And can I say my grandmother's secret on the podcast? I don't know.
Do tell us the secret.
Okay, so put a little bit of pasta water inside your sauce in order to give like this creamy stuff, and don't put like butter or that bad Irish stuff.
That is, that's actually how I make my pasta from my carbonara from your presentation. That is, I used to put cream in, but I don't anymore. But I guess, listen, we're gone off the beaten track. I want to talk to you about what else was, because there's the 2-minute presentation, but there's also a group assignment too. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about that? Like, or what did you even learn from the assessment centers? Did you take anything away from it?
Yeah, the assessment center was an amazing day. After those 2-minute presentation, we had a break, we had connection, and then we went through this group activity that was a marketing group activity. They gave us a case that we had to like solve and then present to the marketing team. And what was really important was how we interact with other people, how we interact with not just our presentation, how we present, but how we cope. That it's really important. Like the teamwork, it's really important as a brand ambassador. You see, I'm the Italian brand ambassador, but I'm working with a lot of people, and teamwork, it's such an important skill to have.
And it's also that relationship building piece. Like, you're working with people who you were just meeting for the first time. So
absolutely,
it's not all about the presentation you present back. It's about how you prepare for it and how you, I guess, get on, or not even necessarily get on, but how you work with those who are in the group. Were any of the members in your group brand ambassadors today? Are you working with any of the guys?
I actually don't remember. Probably at first, in my first application, I did the presentation with Brandon or someone in the marketing team, but I really don't remember right now.
That is okay. And I mean, for your second year as well, you were online. The assessment centers adapted online. How was that? How did you find doing the assessment centers online?
Oh, it was great. It was great even online, because we had the opportunity to talk in groups. We had those spare rooms where we had time to see the marketing case and to work together as we were in the office. It was great. It was an amazing experience. And I remember when I did my group assessment that I was with the actual brand ambassador in Barcelona, Ruth, and with Rachel McGee. Yeah.
Who was our brand ambassador in Malaysia as well, which is great, because it's one of those things as well. And I was similar when I applied. You don't know the people you're doing the assessment centers with, but you do know that some of them are going to be your future colleagues. And it's great because it's a brief introduction to those people, and everyone's going through a similar shared experience when you're doing the assessment centers. So it's a great way to meet people, and I guess kind of it takes the edge off. You know, it's a job that, of course, you're applying to, and it's a job that you want, but you're learning doing the assessment center. It's not just an interview. You're taking something from it.
Yeah, learning from other people.
100%. And Martin, okay, so you have the assessment centers done. You have the big part. You're waiting. You get the call or the email to find out that you get the job as a brand ambassador. How do you feel? Do you remember the moment? What was it like?
Absolutely. I was there every single day, like checking my email. Like,
were you making some carbonara and then you got the email and you're woo, and just threw it up everywhere?
No, but afterwards I did a huge party with Jameson ginger ale and lime and carbonara.
I don't know how I feel about them as a combination, but okay. So tell us what was going through your head when you kind of got the offer.
Well, I got the offer for the Italian market,
yep.
And I always said during the application that the market that I wanted to work in at first was Italy. So I used that in my as a strength, knowing the language, knowing the territory, knowing the people. But I remember that I did an interview in Spanish because I know a little bit of Spanish. And I was open to go to other markets. And when I received the offer for the Italian market, I was really, really happy.
Which is great. And I think your mindset was great there. You know, for year one of the program, you don't have an input into where you go. And that, of course, for people listening, is because the guys in the marketing team at home will know what the market needs are and what the brand ambassador what market that brand ambassador suits, which of course is completely understandable. But you know, it's great that you had where you'd like to go, but you were so open to going to somewhere else, because that's what this graduate program is. It's an experience that can take you anywhere around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember they were asking question like, what about if we will send you in India? And I was like, that's grand. I'd love to go to India. And what about in South America? Okay, my luggage is ready under my bed. Let's go.
What? Your luggage is just full of carbonara? I don't know why I keep going back to the carbonara joke, to be honest.
You want a carbonara?
Yeah. Well, that's and when you know, I guess you've started the role. Is it what you've expected? Is it, you know, how are you finding it? I mean, I'm sure you'll agree. You obviously didn't know exactly what the role entails because you need to be in the job. But how are you finding the last couple of months? Your first, we're in our fourth month in the role.
Yeah. Well, every market it's different. I was talking to other brand ambassadors and they had different experience in other markets. So the Italian market, it's Jameson. It's quite known, but it's not that popular as a first choice because aperitivo is it's really common here in Italy. And I started working on this aperitivo side with Jameson ginger ale and lime as the first choice of aperitivo. I was working on the field by activating even not just bar, but even local shops because like the Jameson families, the family go beyond the simple bar. So I was traveling around Italy. As I told you before, I went to Milan, Rome, Naples, Florence, and the Jameson family. It's big even in your market because you're not alone. You have managers. You have an eye on your market. Even in Ireland, you have Meetup, calls. You have other BAs that help you to find the right path at the beginning.
So it sounds like you're having a good time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Matt, we're coming to the end of the podcast, but I guess one of the biggest questions I want to ask you is, what advice would you have to anyone thinking of applying?
Well, first of all, check the website, check the Instagram page, and don't be afraid to write me on Instagram, write Podge, or write every other brand ambassador. Don't be afraid. We are here to help you. Whatever question do you have, DM us on Instagram. And a big advice: just be yourself, because you are the best part of yourself.
And as we mentioned earlier on, every market's very different. So what they look for in a brand ambassador is can vary from market to market. So the best way to I guess showcase why you think you're best suited to the program is just being yourself. And what if someone was on the fence? What if someone was thinking about applying but they don't know? What would you say to them?
What are you waiting? If you apply, I can cook carbonara for you.
And just like that, Martin, applications have gone through the roof. Martin, we've got some quick fire questions here now. Okay, I'm going to throw some quick fire questions.
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, question number 1. One word people would use to describe you.
Explosive.
Great. Second question. Say a word in another language.
Namaste.
Anything you want? Is there any like sayings in Italian that you could throw at us?
Yeah, vai tra. That means don't worry.
I like that one. Martin, one place you want to travel to next?
Thailand.
Shout out to Daisy, who is our brand ambassador in Bangkok. 3 words to describe the Jameson International Graduate Program.
Oh, let me see. Best experience ever.
Oh, very good. We've had a few very creative people using the 3 words. And favorite part of the job so far?
Oh, when you work a lot on a project and you see people enjoying the project that you've created, being inside a Jameson 360 experience. And we're looking forward to St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, of course. Big day for us here. Martin, final question for me is, what's your best memory so far on the road?
First of all, the application process.
Good one.
When I met other brand ambassadors that are now on the program. For example, Jules. He is French, but he's on the Spanish market. I met him 2 years ago, and now we're really close friends. When I need something, I text to Jules and ask, "How is your work there in Spain?" And he gave me feedback. And the same with other brand ambassador, Fionn Carty, and the other Fionn, even Brandon. Like, friendship is one of the best things that you would have. Like long-lasting friendships. It's
utilizing that global family that we have, isn't it?
Yeah, and we are a global family.
Sharing from one another and being able to kind of draw on other people's experiences, and which just makes the role just that bit more special.
Yeah, you feel part of a global family, and that's the best thing of the role.
Brilliant. Well, Martin, I want to thank you very much for joining me today. It was an incredible chat, as always.
Thank you, Fudge.
I'm feeling a bit hungry now. I wonder what I'm going to go make. But no, Martin, thank you very much for joining me. If people are listening and they do want to learn more about the graduate program, as Martin mentioned, go on to the website jamesongraduateprogram.com, or of course our social channels at Jameson Grad Prog. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and of course watch out for the next episode of the Jameson Graduate Program. See you, Martin.
Ciao.
Thanks again to Martin. And on the next episode we'll have Thomas O'Brien, who'll be talking to us about language and culture. See you next time.